dusty. Okay, so we'll take the GPU out to make some room. Unplug the power. There we are. GPU out of the way. So now we can take this screw out here, which is for the M.2. Now it does have a heat spreader on it, so it does get stuck to the M.2 and the actual M.2 itself. Now we can take that out. That's the old M.2, you can see right there, 256 gigabyte, SX 6000. And now we're changing it to this one here, which is the SX 8200 512. So we have double the storage capacity and it's a little bit faster than the other one. That one has a different heat spreader. You can just compare that to the old one. So the new one's a little bit different, has a little logo on there. The only downfall is this gets covered by a heat spreader. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually not going to install this. So now let's get this M.2 in there. Now this heat spreader should be a little bit more efficient as it's going directly onto the chips themselves, not through the heat spreader that was on it before. So you can see this has this little tab right here, and that tab goes into that little channel right there. Now the sheet of silicone that was on the back of that is just going to adhere to it over time, which is actually what this fluid stuff is on the old one here. You can see it's just kind of like an oil sort of on there, but it's okay, none of that's corrosive or conductive. Nothing to be worried about there. Now M.2 is done, that's the NVMe, so it's going to be a little bit faster than it was before, but double the capacity was mostly what I was after. Now we can pop this off, get the hard drives out, and we also have to run 2 more SATA cables. Hopefully I can get the 290 degrees working on the hard drives, and then we can use the straight ones for the SSDs. Okay, so just gonna take thumb screws out here. Now prepare for the shame that everyone hides behind the rear panel. Wow, it's a lot worse than I remember. Now to be fair, this case was not designed for the motherboard that I have in it. This is an eATX motherboard, and this is just an ATX case. So a lot of this is due to the size of the motherboard because the cables don't come through properly, and there's just lots of headaches trying to get this motherboard in this case. So that is the RGB controller, that's the fan controller, there's the first SSD, and then we have the second one that's going to go here, or possibly here, depending, not sure. This is for the games. This is the new drive for all of my YouTube stuff. We have the 2 8TB hard drives that are going to go down here. So now I have to figure out how I'm going to cable manage all of this, because the cables are just kind of stuffed into the empty hard drive caddy. I didn't order cable mod cables yet, so I don't have custom lengths, and because this is a 1200 watt power supply, these cables are extremely thick. They're really hard to actually get anywhere. So I guess let's just start unhooking stuff. There we go, pop that out, might as well get them out of the way. I'm gonna work around cables here, and this is not working well. Now let's just dig all this out. Let's get it all out of the way here. Come on, everything out. Out, out, out. So much extra cable, there's just nowhere to put it in this case. Look at all this. Cable mod, help me. I'm gonna need to buy them now. I don't really have another option for what I'm gonna do with these cables, because now the only crevice that they were in before is going to be used for another hard drive, so that's all there is to it. Take the caddies out. Hard drive caddy 1. Hard drive caddy 2. So that's that 4TB hard drive. There. Pop that out. Apparently the peg fell out of this rubber bushing. Quality. Okay, there we go. Rubber bushing back in. Now we can take the first, the 8TB hard drives. Just to get those in there. That just fell out. Awesome. Thanks, Corsair, for your quality. Funny how they tried to make things faster by using these brackets, but they made them of such poor quality that it's actually taking longer than it would have just having screws. So now I gotta try and force this pin back into the bushing, and put the bushing back into the caddy. Snap that in, and now let's try it again. So those little pins are what keep popping out. Put that in, that one's in, so we got one side done. Now let's flex the hell out of this to get that in. Not quite going. Oh, and the pin just fell out again, and that fell in the computer. Perfect. Thanks, Corsair. Thanks for charging an absurd amount of money for garbage quality. I need that pin back. Oh, Jesus. Okay. I'm just going to bring you back in when I have the hard drives in the caddies. Okay, so I put the other SATA cables in. I have this one with the straight end. That is SATA 0. And then SATA 1 is another straight cable, so those are going to be for the SSDs. And then I have the 2 right angles as SATA 2 and SATA 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. These are going to come down here to the hard drives. These are going to go up here to the SSDs. Let's put the hard drives in, I guess. Put the top one in first, because this cable has to do cable stuff. The worst part about this whole build was I really liked the case, so it sucks that there's such a lack of space for cables in it. So I actually don't think I'm going to be able to get the rear panel back on, so I'm going to have to order some custom length cables. So SSD, you take this guy, pop this back in here. Now this one here, and that one can go in there. Also, there's a little spring in here. When you want to take them out, they just pop right out. So these are upside down, so the logos are not facing the right ways. This is drive 0, so this is going to be my games. That is just going to go in there. Drive 1, so this is going to be the new YouTube drive. There we go. This is drive 2, so that's going to be the top one. Let's see if I can try and get that in there. And cable stuck. Every part of this is going to suck. How am I going to plug that in? There we are. Oh, what I wouldn't do for Corsair to make this case a bit bigger. I love this case, but I can't do anything with it. Okay. Get out of my way. There you go. Okay. So we have these things. I don't remember what they were when I hooked them up. We have one plugged in here, nothing plugged in here, and then 2 more plugged in here. If I use 2 of these for these, another one for this, that leaves 1 available, and I'm going to be unplugging 2, and there's 4 here. Run this whole cable up through this rat nest. These can go to this. We have the hard drive here, and that's going to be 1, and then 2. That's a really tight fit. And this one goes to... where did it go? I lost it. Where did that go? Go up here and then into this. All of that is good. Just kind of trying and stuff all this in here. That's out of the way. Cool. SATA cables. Cool. Right in there or something. This is just terrible. So this can just kind of get stuffed up here or something, and then this I'm not even using. So I'm just going to shove that down here. Now this can plug in here. Perfect. I'm glad that came out. And it gives me a lot of confidence that it's going to stay in. None at all. That's in there. That's good. This is just an absolute nightmare. I have no idea what to do with all of this cable. There's no room for any of it. Maybe if I go like here, maybe? Kind of lays that down a bit. And this goes up in there. It's mostly this cable here. It's so big. I just can't put it anywhere. Like 1200 watt power supply. Who would have thunk? Okay, so I believe that's everything. All the cables are in. I just need to actually like press them down. Actually, I could probably fit this like right in between here like this. Get that to lay down into this absolute mess right here. I can unplug this, stuff that back through, take this one, plug that in here. Front is done. You don't need to mess with cables there. This SATA cable, I don't need that. So now we are literally just fighting to get all of these cables in place. Literally fighting. Just this power cable, it's screwing me. You need to be able to like stuff this in here like this, and then like that. Down quite a bit there, and I think I can fit it as long as it actually stays. So stay. Oh, this thing's just a nightmare. Get this in here, just like this. And that goes in. There we go. Okay, now the thumb screws, where did those go? Okay, I can't believe I got that panel back on. Definitely gonna be ordering some cables for this, because I literally can't do anything else with it now. Oh no. Can't really see it, I'll try and lean this up, but when I was pushing that 24-pin cable down, it pushed up in front of the fans. That's why I was able to get the room for it, so I have to buy custom length cables. It's the only option. I literally have no other option for this. So you may have noticed that this fan right here is blowing in, and that was because I originally intended on having these 2 fans as exhaust on the top, but because the motherboard's so big, you can't fit a 140 here, you have to fit 120s. That essentially means that I have to buy 2 120 exhaust fans for the top, and then I can flip this back around, but as of right now, this is entirely positive air pressure. I have 3 120s on the front, on the rad as pull, and this 120 at the back, which is also an intake. So everything is going in, and there's nothing actually pushing out other than the air pressure itself leaking at the top. So that's why this fan is in this direction. Having positive air pressure usually keeps dust down. But as you can see, that is not the case at all, because this thing is full of dust after only 4 months. So I'm going to wipe this down and then we'll put the glass back on. Well, that is pretty clean. Let's put the GPU back in. Down. There we are. Just the screws. There we are. Perfect. Now we can toss these guys in. Oh, this is warped for some reason. Quality. Wow, this doesn't fit at all. What happened? I'm going to start the threads here. Start the threads here. Wow, this is like really far off. This is kind of concerning, but like I think the case warped. Yeah, let's take this one out. What the hell, Corsair? Literally already had it together, and now it doesn't want to stay in one piece. Let's see if maybe... Oh yeah, there's a lot of flex in the chassis. Look at that. Jesus. That's why. Chassis flex. Very good. Let's get that corner in there. Boop. Boop. This side has to come out, so I need to go like this. Look at that. It all fits now. Wow. That's how much flex this chassis has. That's absurd. Okay, there we are. So now we get to hook it up and install Windows. Ooh. So we're going to boot from the UEFI PNY USB 2.0 FD PMAP partition 1. In other words, we're booting off of the USB stick. There we go, we're in the Windows installer. Next, install. So I gotta put in my product key, and we accept all of the terms. Custom. This drive here is already unallocated, so we'll just click next. And here we go. Now it's installing.